Alright, so in my folder here, I'm going to make another folder and I'm just going to call it fridge. And what I'd like to do is kind of place, let's see, maybe the refrigerator right here. If we look at our reference images, I think I have that open somewhere. Let's see, I know I have a folder called cottage house, reference images, kitchen reference. Here we go. There isn't like a lot of room for a fridge, but I definitely going to rework this area a little bit to build these cabinets, and I think I'm just going to place the refrigerator here and then set the windows a little high. So as you walk in, so you know what, I'll place the fridge right off to the side here, and then I'll place these cabinets here. So I'll make it a little bit, these things a little bit squat. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and scale this off to the side. So this is where I'll place my fridge, just something here. And then I'm going to modify and just do center pivot. So just holding space with that, then holding shift, dragging this up, going to face mode, grabbing this face and moving it back a little bit. Let's go ahead and create a pure ref inside of this folder. So I'm going to hit space and just do pure ref. And what I'll do is just right click and send to desktop. I'll create a shortcut there. And that way when I go to save this, I can just click on the desktop here and go to the kitchen ref and then just name it kitchen and yeah, kitchen ref. And then I can throw things in there like my fridge or whatever. I should have a separate one for fridge, but I'll just kind of resave this. So there's my kitchen reference to help me out. And if you remember, we're going for that 1950s style fridge, right, from our reference from before. So let's see if we, here's my fridge folder. So yeah, let me pause the video and jump back to the website for our, where we're grabbing a lot of our reference, our 1950s fridge reference imagery. So if you guys remember before, we went to bigchill.com and you can see here's like the full collection. We click on this, and what I'm looking for is essentially this fridge right here. So if I click on it, you can see I've got all these great reference images of the fridge. Now I don't anticipate it opening up in any way. Like I don't anticipate opening up this fridge. So you can really, if we just click on this, just kind of with my arrow keys, I can cycle through and find the one that I like. I do like this, which is really nice. So I'm going to figure out a way to work that in. So I can grab, let's see, you can right click, copy image, hit Control V, and you can paste them into your Pure Ref too, which is really nice. That's the real power behind this program. And then I'm going to copy this image. And in all honesty, this is probably the only reference I really need for now. So, and I'm going to actually scale this up a good amount like that. All right, let's go ahead and minimize this. And here's my Maya window. So as I mentioned with my kitchen here, the way I'm going to create these cabinets is actually something like this. So I'm just kind of bringing this up, holding shift, dragging this over. Then on this, I'm going to go to face mode and grab this. Now I'm not going exactly according to this, but I'm going to come pretty darn close. So for this, let's go ahead and select both and then hit F12 on our keyboard. Or actually, let's do F11 for face mode. And I'm just going to select these two side faces and shift them over. Now for this, I'm going to hit R and then hold shift down. And then I'm going to hit W and then hold shift. Just kind of extrude that in. And then the reason I copied this off is this is going to serve as that center bar for our, let's hit F to focus, for the cabinet, right? So here's the center part for the shelf. And it's got a kind of cool look. Like it doesn't have glass here or anything, which is kind of sort of neat, you know, so just kind of pull this up. I'm going to hit backspace to delete that face that's hidden. So what I'm doing is all the faces I'm not going to see, for example, this one and this bottom one, you can hit backspace or delete to get rid of them, just to save us some geo. Now what I'm going to do is modify center pivot this, and then I'm going to hit R and then hold shift and just scale this out like that. Something like this. Now you might be wondering, well, what about the shelf, right? Like, you know, aren't you missing a shelf? And the truth is I am. So I'm going to go to edge mode. And I'm just using this as an opportunity to right click I'm sorry, to hold shift and right click and to teach you about the bridge tool. Now the bridge tool, depending on the number of divisions, if you hit apply, it'll add them. We don't really need a lot of divisions. We just need, we actually don't need any divisions. We're just going to hit apply. And what that does is it welds it for us. And what I can do is go to edge mode and select these two. And even if I don't have this open, if I hit G, it'll redo last action. So there we go. There's our shelf. And if I select both of these and I hit F11, I can go to face mode and just select them and think about, well, how far deep do I want this to be? And it looks like I kind of want all of these to be much deeper than what they are. So I'm going to hit F11, and then I've got all of that selected. So I'm going to deselect this inside. So that way I've only got those faces, and I'll bring that out a bit more. So something like this. Now I do want these to be thinner, right? So I'm going to hit R, scale this in, and it looks like this should be set in a little bit more like that. And then this one should definitely be thinner. So they have about they have about 4 shelves there. I'm really just going to go to I'm just going to go 3 shelves. All right, so let's knock out our fridge, which is kind of the point of this video. So, or I should say the point of this lesson. I'm just going to use what I have. So I'm going to hold shift and bring this in. And it always kind of bothered me when fridges were right against the wall, so I'm going to have to figure out something to kind of expand this. But let's go ahead and grabbing this, go to face mode, bring it up, and just sort of size it up, right? So it looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is hide everything but this. I'm going to hit F to focus, and let's take a look at knocking this out. We really should be doing this in its own file and referencing it in. That'll help with texturing, but I think if we do this now and then export it out and make it its own file so that we can bring it into Game Engine, that's okay too. All right, so let's make this a little bit bigger, and let's zoom in on this so we can take a look. Now, the first thing we want to do, like anything else, is just gray box this out. So I'm going to hold shift, copy this, hit R, scale it in, scale the top down, and just what's going to help with my my placement is just not even really modeling yet, just kind of bringing these down into place. Checking the size comparison, I notice there's a little gap on the bottom here. That looks pretty good, right? We got something like this. It's a little bit too close. Now the reason I left a bigger gap there is because what I'm going to do is select this one, hit F to focus, and then I'm going to hit R and then hold shift, and I'm going to create that little piece of chrome like that. And I'm going to hit W, just move that down. Let's hit F to focus like that. I'm going to hit W, I'm holding shift by the way, just W to move. Let's turn these guys on so we can see this a little bit better. That and our AO. Let's see. That looks pretty good. All right, now we notice that we have a bevel all the way around this. So the first thing I'm going to do is with all of these selected, actually, you know what, I might just combine it. So let me just go shift right click combine. I'm going to go to edge mode. Select this edge, this one, and this one. And there's a bevel on that side too. Something like this. Select all of these. There's a bevel on top, but not really one on the bottom. But there is a piece here so that I'm missing. So let's go to face mode, double click this, and hold shift. And oh, I'm sorry, let's right click, shift right click, and go to duplicate face. Which is here. Then I'm going to go to object mode, deselect everything, modify center pivot, and then holding shift, I'm going to copy that down here. And I'll make that a little bit thinner, and that's going to be our chrome. Now, what I can do actually is to save time is I can actually just, let me delete one of these out, and I could just add the bevel. Yeah, let me delete this one too. So with these selected, I'm going to right click, go to edge mode, select those edges again. There we go. And this edge here. And then I'm going to hit Control and B. And you could see, let me move this out of the way. We have our a little bit of a bevel there. So for just a review, the fraction is the distance there. Number of segments is how many cuts we want. I'm actually okay with just 2. I want to play with, it looks like we've got 2 on top of each other, this fraction size just a little bit. Let's do like 0.3, I think look cool. Let's go to object mode here. Let me delete this one. That looks pretty good. I mean, I think that's all we really need for that bevel. We could push it a little bit more, but if it's a game model, we don't want to go too crazy. So it looks pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and take care of those other pieces, as I mentioned before. So I'm going to go to face mode, double click this, hit F to focus so we can see it. Shift right click, delete duplicate face, go to object mode, select everything, then deselect. Notice my pivot point is nowhere to be found, so for that we need to do modify center pivot. And we have a duplication there that we can use here. And I'm going to hold shift and we can use down here. Alright, let's hit R, scale this down. Let's combine all of this, with the exception of that back piece. So shift right click combine just for the doors for now. Looks pretty good.